All right, everyone, and welcome back. Today is the day of the Steam release. Well, technically tonight, overnight, there's a maintenance happening, and I actually really like this one thing that this game does. So this game is getting pretty big, pretty fast. A couple of weeks ago, we had an update that was, a gigabyte, 3 gigabytes, whatever it is, and they gave us gems for it. Well, hey, they're like, hey, we're increasing the size by another 3.5 gigabytes because, oh my God, right? And they're like, here's 1,000 gems. Like, here, just hold that real quick. Just take 1,000 gems. So here it is. This was literally 2 weeks ago. 3.5 gigs each time. So I'm not too mad at that. I am a little mad at the size though, because like, geez, what are they adding? Because last time they added a bunch of stuff, but none of it was stuff that was like, new features or anything like that. There's probably a bunch of stuff that's packed away in this app, but what it probably is it's something tied into the Steam release, maybe them having unoptimized assets. That's a typical thing. In fact, they're really bad about that with Dokkan. People are starting to really complain about Dokkan's app size being like 20 gigabytes. Yeah, it's just, for Dokkan itself, it's just kind of crazy, just the style of game it is. Anyway, so yeah, I don't really like them continually doing this, but I do like my gems. But hey, people were wondering why we even needed a Steam release. I legitimately had people wondering that. And I didn't realize people thought that way until I saw that, and I tried to explain it the best I could. But stuff like this, like not everyone wants to have a give or take 10 gigabyte game on their phone. Not everyone can have that, right? Like, and then especially if you play multiple of these, like I've got a whole ass library, man. Like that is problematic. It is. That's why these PC clients exist. One of the many reasons why. Anyway, thank you for the free 1,000. So log in, claim that. Somebody also asked me if now was a good time to start playing the game. By the way, I have no clue when all these like pre-registration, download celebration rewards are going to expire from a new account's gift box. I'd assume if they haven't already, it's probably pretty soon. So if you wanted to re-roll, obviously you'd find out immediately if you try to re-roll. But if you wanted to start an account, I would honestly do it sooner than later, before the maintenance begins, because who knows if all this stuff is still there. Some of this stuff inevitably has probably already expired. But the good news is they gave 1,000 there, and last time after maintenance they gave 500. So is this just the standard? They're going to give a full multi every time they do one of these? Like, that's pretty cool, considering the income is low. And I want to make sure people understand. I'm not mad at the fact they're giving us gems, of course. I'm just annoyed at the app size continually raising. The game's a month old, and what's it going to be like in 2 months? Like, are they going to have like another 7 gigabytes in this game? Like, what are we? And then also, like, it needs to be reflected. I want to see a huge graphical upgrade if we're going to something, right? You couldn't even tell me what changed in the last update aside from the actual new content, right? Which was nothing crazy. Anyway, so we had that going on. I wanted to pivot over to my screen here. All right, we're now on the Twitter. If you haven't already, be sure to follow your boy, linked down below in the description. Also, in the bottom left corner, you can see it right there. Okay, well, I zoomed in too much. There you go. It's right there in the bottom left corner of the screen. Also, I have a TikTok where I post content too, so just stay up to date with me. I'd greatly appreciate it. Really trying to help build out the community for this game, so appreciate it. If you have any questions or anything, you can obviously hit me up on Twitter. I do have it filtered though, so you have to be following for me to see it. Otherwise, I will literally not see it. All right, so they've actually I want to give them some credit, because way back a few weeks ago, I'll say, I'm not going to scroll. A few weeks ago, we were clamoring for some communication, some transparency, right? And to their credit, they've been trying to do that. Like, they came out with a roadmap a couple of weeks ago. We're still referencing that. I don't know where it is in here. We're still referencing that as something that is going to be and showing us the content. Here it is, showing us the content that's coming out today, and then even a little bit of what's coming out next week, which I would expect them to drop another one of these at some point over the next week to give us another hint here. But a roadmap was pretty nice. I would love to see more, and a more in-depth one of like what their long-term plans are for the game. Some things they have implemented, like Solo Leveling Arise, I think does a really good job of that. They released a roadmap the other day, which I believe carries out through the beginning of next year or so. They do a really good job of that. Marvel Strike Force typically does that pretty well, where they do like a 6-month roadmap, things like that. So I would love to see that. Anyway, The communication has been better. We know a number of things are happening. Firstly, we know Chester is going to be implemented in this story chapter. Remains to be seen if he is a new character at the time of his release. I would assume so. And so if that's the case, is he going to be limited? And then if he is limited, are they just going to try to make all of their original characters limited? Is that what they're going to try to do? Because Sagan's banner is leaving today, which, by the way, if you wanted to pull Sagan, now's your last chance. So I will be doing some summons to get that dupe. But like, are they gonna do that? Because that's just dumb to me. By the way, they also plan to release another gacha alongside this. If that is the case, they did say every time they drop an original character gacha, they will also release a side one. Like it was Mina, maybe it'll be Gen or something like that. You're probably not even gonna touch it, but it is what it is. And if that's the case, like if they plan to make these all limiteds, then what is the end game there? Because limited means they're going to just rerun Sagan's banner later. She's not going to be in this banner. It's not like Reno, where his banner ended and he's on Hoshin's banner as an unfeatured one you can just pull randomly. That's not the case with Sagan. Her and her weapons will disappear from the game being an acquirable character and item until they rerun her banner, right? Or make another method for her to be obtained. I don't know. But so like if that's the case for these original characters, then I don't really know. This game, I've said a lot of times that like this series is so short, they're going to have a lot of original characters. And I'm really curious about what the goal is on that. Like I talked about solo leveling earlier. It's another not that long series. It's longer than this one, but I believe so anyway. But they've got so many original characters already. Now, people don't typically care about that stuff though. So that's where you got to make them enjoy them with the characters' story and all that stuff. And so, I was talking about the communication. They have been telling us a little bit more slowly but surely about talking about SLA, Chester. And they've been telling us more about Closer and all that stuff. So that's where it's pretty interesting. Again, some more communication, small, minute, whatever you want to say. But a win is a win is a win. That's what I'll say, right? Like it's nothing crazy. It's not like this is some humongous communication. But this is what I like to see. I like them engaging with us. I like them telling us more about what we can expect in the game, giving us lore expansion. Like this is the first report from Suited. I'm cool with that. And so this is something pretty neat, right? It's nothing, again, crazy. If you're expecting some massive thing, that's not what this is. But I want to say that we've been clamoring for more of this type of stuff, and it is what it is. I'm happy that we're seeing this. All right. London's Dimensional Gate continues to expand. A new Closer officer joins the operation. Does joins the operation, like, literally mean that he is going to be summonable? Because in some games, that type of wording would mean that. I don't know if that just means that he's going to become part of their party and start mingling with them from here on out. I'd assume that's also the case, but I don't know if that's what that means either way. Suited has a comment at the bottom that dimensional kaiju disasters are a global catastrophe. The London Dimensional Gate was supposed to take a while to activate, but for it to do so this quickly is super, super bad. That's one thing that I think is kind of interesting. As a series, Kaiju number 8 actually is like super duper primed for spin-offs in other parts of the world. And they mention a couple of times in the series, like, hey, we can't really put something, like at the end, you probably just saw it in the episode a couple days ago. They said, hey, we can't put something together fast enough. The logistics of that wouldn't work. So we're basically on our own in Japan organizing this against these kaiju threats. And we'll have to use our own Japan Defense Force, right? But there are other organizations, I guess Closer would fit that bill in this case, worldwide that handle kaiju. So like the series is primed for spinoffs. So I do wonder if that'd be the case. But it is cool that at least the game is taking the onus upon themselves to get this stuff kind of out there, right? And I'd assume, I'd have to go back and confirm, but typically when games do this, it's with the original author's permission. The original author is heavily involved in designing and story outlook and all this stuff. So I'd have to go back and see. But, it is nice to see more about Chester there. And they also put out another one earlier today along with his character profile. So, I didn't see this stuff, so I'm pretty sure he's coming out. Like, they're going all in on the Chester stuff. I didn't actually see these last two. I had only seen these two graphics, so I feel pretty sure he's coming out. Because they didn't even do all this for Sagan. But maybe they just weren't ready for it for Sagan. They just teased her with like a coming soon graphic, so I guess, but whatever. Anyway, in this case, he has another graphic. Suited's report number 2. Suited reports on Chester. She tells us about him. A closer member stationed in the European region. Stay tuned for chapter 4 featuring Chester. And again, that's not the question. We know he'll be in chapter 4. That's kind of the point of this, but I'm just, again, questioning if he'll be the gotcha and if he'll be limited. And another reason why a gotcha should be coming out is because if there's no gotcha this week, that would be 3 weeks consecutively, assuming that they wait until next week around this time without a gotcha. And that's unheard of in this game. I would like it. Low key, I would like it. Give people a chance to get more rewards and stuff like that saved up. But that's unheard of. And then also, the next update is on the 9th. And that day, what is it? All the other banners are expiring. So there's probably going to be something today. So closer officer from the European region, weapon expert with mastery in various weapons. I mean, that doesn't mean anything though. Like him being an expert in various weapons is some cool lore, but that doesn't really mean anything in the context of this game. Because in the context of this game, unless he is a character that's able to equip other weapon types, which I mean, he certainly could be, that'd be crazy. If he's not, then he's not. And so he's like stuck to a rifle, for example. Like that doesn't really mean anything, but it's cool lore though, right? Chester used to be a special forces captain in the British Defense Force. He's a capable elite and a great guy who cares about his comrades. Oh, and he always listens to my crazy ideas. And then they go from there and they give out his character profile. This is something that's just on the website, a little bit of details on him. And then there's a sneak peek of him in the story and all that stuff, interacting with Sagan and the other characters. So really cool overall. But let me know what you guys think about this. Again, remember to claim your gems in game and all that stuff. Check out the TikTok, check out the Twitter, all down below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all post-update. I'm really excited about this.